Well, Lacey, ever since the Ford Edge was introduced back in 2007, it's been a huge hit. It's built in Oakville, Ontario, and it's just the right size for many Canadians as they're looking for a vehicle that's a little bit more upscale than, say, the older Ford Explorer.
Now here we are in 2011 with a major refresh for this very successful vehicle. Not content to update the front and rear styling, add a few interior tweaks and just call it a day. Nope, Ford went to town on this important people mover as they're a company on a mission to provide industry-leading vehicles and innovation.
And on all of these fronts, this new 2011 Ford Edge doesn't disappoint. In fact, the updates were so dramatic that I chose it as my top pick in the midsize SUV class for my latest book, Motormouth, The Complete Canadian Car Buying Guide. Lacey's going to get her autographed copy in just a minute.
Now, the reason that the Edge has been so successful is because of its size. It's roomy enough without being too bulky to park or maneuver. Even though the last model had a cohesive design, this new model is more dramatic, featuring a deeper grille, more expressive headlights, a wide array of wheel options, and overall tidier packaging. The base model is only sold with front-wheel drive and starts at $27,999. The mid-range SEL is offered with all-wheel drive, and it starts at just under $34,000. Then there's the limited and very aggressive-looking Sport. Wheel sizes on the base, SEL, and Limited are 17 or 18 inches, either painted, chrome, or alloy. The Sport is fitted with 22-inch alloy wheels with black inserts.
Now, it could be argued that the outside updates really are secondary. It's the inside that sets this vehicle apart from its predecessor and the other vehicles in this class. Gone are the ill-fitting panels, the stark-looking center console, and the cheap-feeling plastic. Now for 2011, this Edge has soft touch points on the dash, doors, and center console. The one-piece dashboard gives the impression of quality, and this limited trim could compete with more expensive vehicles like the Lexus RX. Not a three-row vehicle like the Ford Flex or new Explorer, this 5-passenger configuration is perfect for most families, and the space in the back seat and cargo area is ample. Now, the biggest update to this Ford Edge is the available My Ford Touch connectivity system. With either voice commands, the touch screen in the middle of the dashboard here, or by using buttons on the steering wheel, this is all infotainment based with navigation, phone, satellite radio, and everything available at literally your fingertips or through your voice. It's a rolling showcase of innovation.
Just like the Fusion Hybrid, there are two small screens on either side of the speedometer. One side controls vehicle information, the other entertainment and phone functions. The 5-way buttons on the wheel controls these screens. Then there's a large center screen, which is divided into 4 sections for navigation, heat, radio, and phone. Touch either section for more information or use voice commands to help keep the driver's hands on the wheel. The base 3.5-liter V6 engine has a very impressive 285 horsepower, and it really comes alive with the help of the shiftable 6-speed automatic transmission. The 305 horsepower 3.7-liter V6 that's found in the Sport model is the same engine equipped in the luxury version called the Lincoln MKX. So if you're in the market for the Lincoln MKX, the less expensive Edge might be worth a look. Most of the trim levels of the Edge fall in the price range of between $30,000 and $40,000, so it's right on par with the competition. But the one thing that Ford brings to the table is a high level of refinement. It's very refreshing, and it brings the Edge more upmarket. It could be argued that the higher-end all-wheel drive limited model for just under $40,000 is a bargain compared to the Jeep Grand Cherokee and entry-level luxury vehicles. I'm impressed with the improvements on this new Edge. The brakes are very smooth and they stop with authority, and on the highway, it's incredibly comfortable and it passes with ease.
Another reason to consider the Edge is the suspension. It's a surprising balance between comfort and dynamics. The new shock, springs, and stabilizer bars improve handling but don't make the ride harsh. In fact, the dampened ride is on par with many luxury vehicles. As an example, this test vehicle is fitted with winter tires, but there's no evidence of noise or diminished handling. The Edge always feels refined. The improvements to the 3.5-liter engine improve power, but also fuel economy, using 11.2 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 7.4 on the highway. In comparison, that's 15% better than the Nissan Murano, which uses a continuously variable transmission, plus the Edge has 20 more horsepower. Now, I can vividly remember the original Edge review I did back in 2007. Actually, you can go and watch it at drivingtelevision.com. Basically, my summary was this. It does everything well, it's smooth, it's comfortable, it's going to be a nice size for the average Canadian family, but it was rather basic. Now, with this updated version, it has gone from being basic to almost upscale, especially when you look at this limited version, almost bordering on entry-level luxury. If you gave me this Edge and you said this is going to be your family car for the next 5 years, I would be more than satisfied to drive it every day.
So Zach, top pick, hey?
Yeah, well, absolutely, Lacey. There's a lot to talk about with this new Ford Edge. And for me, it always centers on how does it drive. And in that respect, it really is improved. They've done a lot to the suspension, and it really feels connected to the road, great on the highway, and has wonderful feel in the corners. It doesn't feel roly-poly like North American cars of old. Also, the inside is so much better. And the old one it was a nice vehicle, but it had terrible gaps on the dash. That's all being cleaned up. Also, the outside, I think it's a handsome looking vehicle. The overall shape is the same, but they've made it look beefier. And then there's the My Ford Touch. You know, people come and they ask, who are the leaders in the auto industry? And if you're looking at connectivity and the inside, the electronics that you can use on your vehicle, Ford is absolutely at the leading edge. Which leads me, Lacey, to my dislike. My Ford Touch. It might be just a little bit too busy and show busy, and it's got voice commands. I don't like using voice commands. I think that some younger people will love it, but a lot of people might just be overwhelmed. What do you think?
Well, you know what, Zach, I agree with you. The interior styling, it's absolutely stunning. The fit and finish is beautiful, and I really like the new steering wheel. Not only does it look good, but it feels really good in my hands too. The 3.5-liter engine is fantastic, but I also really like the fact that you have a choice of options. You can get the more powerful 3.7, and later in the year, the 4-cylinder EcoBoost will be available. Now on the downside, the styling looks better, but I gotta be honest, the front end just looks a little bit heavy and the nose is too big. And it would be great if they offered a power liftgate on all of the models, just not the higher end trim levels. And that My Ford Touch, I agree with Zach, it's a really cool, amazing system, but it is a lot of work and overwhelming. In fact, it takes like 2 seconds to press a button versus like 40 seconds to use the voice commands.
Here's the thing, you know, I think we're creatures of habit. My wife, a perfect example, she has a vehicle that has just redundant radio controls like volume and also changing channels. She never uses them. She goes and turns it up in the center. So we're creatures of habit, and imposing this very advanced technology on people, some people will just go, whoa, it's way too complex.
Now, Zach, I just want to mention you are not alone. You picked the Edge as your top pick in your book. Just recently, the Automobile Journalists Association of Canada picked the Edge as their 2011 Utility Vehicle of the Year. Way to go, Ford.
See all our reviews on the entire Ford lineup and their competitors at drivingtelevision.com.